Hey everyone! So today I thought I would do my frequently asked questions, which I've been getting a lot of questions about, which is really good. I'm glad that I will be able to help you out hopefully. So this is going to be my frequently asked questions about my study abroad experience in Seoul, South Korea. Yeah, so I've been home for about a month now, and if you want to find out more about what I've been up to, just check in the description box below. And I have my January updates, which is basically everything that I have been up to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started with my frequently asked questions. Okay, so first I want to give you a little bit of background of my experience. So I'm a UC San Diego student. I'm a UC student, and I went to South Korea on the UC EAP program, which is the Education Abroad program. And basically I was in Korea at YONSEI University for about 4.5 months for one semester there, which is more than one quarter. So because UC San Diego was on the quarter system, I left in the summer before we started school here, and I left to Korea. So I was there from the end of August to the end of December basically. But I was in Japan too, but that's basically how long the period is. So it's a lot longer than one quarter, because a quarter is about 10 weeks. I think my semester there was 16 or 18, I don't remember, weeks. So it was much longer, so it's a little bit different. And if you want to find out more about UCEAP, like in general, or I guess more in detail, then I will do a question and answer video on that specifically, but that's about it for the background. So I will go ahead and talk about my academics life in Korea. So the question that I get asked the most is, number one, how much Korean did I speak prior to going abroad? So I took Korean for a year at UC San Diego, but it wasn't that helpful, I would say. So I think it really depends on you and your ability to pick up languages or be comfortable in a setting where, you might feel uncomfortable at times. But for me, I didn't have a problem while I was in Korea. I thought that it was, all fun and even absorbing into new culture, learning new things. It was totally fine for me. But I don't think that I would have gone personally if I had taken no Korean. However, there were a lot of people that went with zero experience in Korean language or zero culture knowledge at all. They just went and they took Korean there, or even some people didn't even take Korean while they were there. And it seems like they also had a really good time too. So I think it really depends on you and your ability to succeed in a foreign country basically. So for me, I really wanted to go to learn the language, pick up the culture, those kinds of things. But some people go specifically to Korea for K-pop, or they go for K-dramas, or they go to party. Honestly, I know a lot of people that went there for those things. And that's not what I went there for, but if that's what you want to do, I think that's totally fine and that's cool. So yeah, I took Korean for a year, and I ended up taking Korean while I was in Korea as well, and I think it was pretty good. So yes. And then number two, did I have to take Korean class before being qualified to study abroad? No, I did not. So like I said, you could have taken zero Korean, you could have taken, you could be completely fluent, honestly, in our program. So the way my program worked is that if you are fluent in the language, as in if you're fluent in Korean, you don't have to take a language class, but if you are not fluent, then you have to take it. So you have to take the language class, which was 2 hours a day, every single day, so Monday through Friday. And I thought it was a really great experience and I really liked it, but I also thought that class was way too easy. So I think that if I had been placed in a higher level, I would have had more challenges and I would have learned more. That being said, like I said, I only took a year of Korean, so probably my level wasn't good enough to be bumped up. But yeah, that's how it was for me. So third question is, what classes did I take? I get asked this question a lot as well. So I ended up taking 4 classes, which were 2 marketing classes and 2 classes in Korean. The 2 classes in Korean were grammar and the language class, which was a 2 hours a day, every single day class. So depending on you, you could have taken that language class, you could not have, you could be doing an internship instead of taking 4 classes. For my program specifically, we had a minimum that you had to take, so you had to take this many units. So that's why I ended up taking 4 classes. I wanted to take 5, but my 5th class was actually on Saturdays, and I was like, I'm not taking a Saturday class. It was Saturday morning, 8 to 11 or something like that. I was like, this is not gonna happen. So I just ended up taking 4 classes, and Honestly, I don't know yet if my credits are going to transfer over because the grades haven't shown up on my account for UCSD, but they have shown up on my account for YONSEI. So I don't know if they are going to transfer, and depending on that, if they did transfer or not, I'm going to end up getting being able to graduate this spring in 2015, or I'm going to have to take like one extra summer session or something like that. So that's also something to take into consideration. If you are a senior or you're planning on graduating, then you want to make sure that your classes will transfer. But for my program specifically, they don't know until much later. So that was kind of annoying. It's still annoying because I don't know. So I have these two classes that I will have to take or will not have to take depending on if the credits transfer over towards my minor. So that's kind of frustrating, but other than that, I didn't really have a problem with picking classes or anything like that, and my study abroad office was pretty helpful about that as well. And then the last question for academics is, was there a GPA average to qualify for studying abroad at YONSEI? And the short answer is no, there wasn't. But there is a study abroad requirement for my school, probably. So I think you had to have a minimum of a 2.5 GPA or a 3.0 GPA. But I do know that some other schools require a higher GPA depending on like the program. So I think that there are some like internships or lab work or research work, things like that. And those are the ones where you will have to have a higher GPA because you're doing more academic-based, like heavy research type things. But for my program, I didn't have to, so I had no problem. But even if there was a GPA requirement, I would have been over it, so it was okay. So yeah, that's also something else to take into consideration. Make sure that your grades are high enough that you can get into the program, at least apply, right? So this is my quick frequently asked questions about the academics. The next video will be about my life in Korea, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye! Hi everyone! So it's been a while since I've filmed, and it's kind of really, I don't know, like I don't even know what to say, but this will be my January updates because January is almost over, and that's crazy because that means I've been in the US for about a month now. So basically what happened is after my study abroad program ended, it ended on the 18th of December. I went to Japan on the 19th of December and I spent Christmas there. And then I went back to the United States on the 31st of December, which was weird because if you leave Japan on the 31st, you also get to here, like get to the US on the 31st, or you get to California on the 31st. So it's kind of weird because I felt like I was in two places at the same time. And so I arrived and then spent New Year's with my family, so like my mom and dad and brother. Yeah, and then right